What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Moralis tutorial video. In this video, we're going to check out the differences between Moralis streams and the Ethers library when listening to the blockchain. Of course, listening to the blockchain is a very prominent feature Web3 developers are interested in because of the many use cases it can provide. For example, whale alerts. Maybe you want to get notified when large cryptocurrency holders start transferring their assets. Maybe you want to build automated bots, so when a specific event happens on a blockchain of your choosing, you fire up an email, a Twitter thread, or a Discord message. Then again, NFTs are massive these days. People have many NFT collections they're interested. Maybe you have your own NFT collection and you want to follow when NFTs are being minted. You can do this by listening to the blockchain. And finally, the Web3 gaming industry is going to boom over the next years. And to provide the best user experience for your gamers, you want the players to get notified when different things happen on the blockchain level in the Web3 game. For example, a battle starts, or your crops are ready to be harvested in a farming Web3 game. And you can do this by listening to the blockchain. And now, Ethers has been a great open source opportunity to start getting these simple blockchain events in real time, but to a limited capacity. So here I have this table. Let me just move my face away. And we see that Moralis can provide so much more today. So with Ethers, you of course could get real-time events, you get multiple chains, but you might not have 100% reliability. Because using Ethers, you have to provide separate node providers, and they might not have all the chains you're looking for, and you have to make sure that the nodes stay live. With Moralis, you don't have this. You have one simple tech stack, Moralis, and you always get, in the form of a webhook, all your real-time blockchain events. Then with Moralis, you can also filter events. There's a lot of events that happen on the blockchain you might not be interested in. For example, if you're listening to a stablecoin being transferred, you might only be interested in the stablecoins that have a value of over $100,000, and all the smaller transfers you're not interested in. With Moralis streams, you can do this. You can also listen to multiple addresses. With Ethers, you had to create a new listener for all the contracts DAI, Tether, USDC, which have the same ERC20 token standard. But with Moralis, you can pool all these addresses into one single stream, and in your webhook, you'll always be informed of which contract address the event was emitted from. And also, you can listen to specific wallet addresses. If you're not interested in a smart contract, you can listen to specific wallets on the actions that wallet is conducting. And finally, Moralis even parses the data for you. You can get parsed data for NFT transfers, NFT approvals, ERC20 transfers, ERC20 approvals, and even the transaction. So you don't have to worry about any extra processing. You get all the data you could want straight out the box in your webhook. So in this video, we'll take a little example where we create a blockchain listener using Ethers and Moralis and see the differences. So now let's cue the intro and then get into the video.
Hey, I'm Jay, your Moralis instructor from beautiful Finland. I got into crypto in 2020, and I've been building in the space ever since. In my free time, I enjoy running and at the gym, and in the summer, you'll definitely find me at the golf course. Now, let's get stuck in and learn about Web3.
Rightio, getting started here in Visual Studio Code. I've created a Node.js file which uses Ethers, and we have imported the application binary interface for the ERC20 token standard. And what we have in here is a get transfer function, which looks in to the USDC contract. And then here we use the Ethers library to indicate which provider we'll use to be able to listen to the events that happen on the Ethereum network. And this is the first limitation, as I said, for the 100% reliability. We have to make sure, in this case, we're using Alchemy, and it has the chain we are interested in, and that it stays live all the time. With Moralis, as we'll see, Moralis takes care of everything. You only have to know that Moralis is live and not be too worried about the different providers you are using. Now, the rest of the functionality over here, we only provide the details of the contract, so which contract we're interested, the application binary interface, and the provider we've set over here with Alchemy. And then we set the listener over here to listen to the transfer event. And what we'll do is we'll console log the details of the transfer, the from address, to address, the value, and the event data, which will not be parsed. And what we can do here is go ahead and fire this up and see what the results are. All right, so let me just fire this up and I'll show you the console. All right, so now we're listening to live blockchain events, and look at this. Now we have our events coming in. We can actually go ahead and stop this right now and then look at the data that's coming in. So here, for example, is our first sample blockchain event that Ethers provide for us when listening to this USDC smart contract. We see the from address, the to address, which is great. Would have to provide some Ethers utils to get the exact value, as it's a big number. This would be simple, but again, you'd have to figure out how many decimals the contract has to be able to get the accurate value in the currency you're interested in. And then we have the event data. So we get the block number, the block hash, and all the unparsed data. So we have all the topics over here unparsed, the transaction hash if we want to check that out on the Ethereum block explorer. but we don't have any of the parsed data over here. We don't actually have certainty which contract it was from the data over here in the response. We just know that it was a transfer, as that's what we're listening to, and it is only for that one contract. So although this is a great start, with Moralis streams, you get so much more. So now let's open up a second example using Moralis streams and see what the response for the same event, any USDC transfer, would be using Moralis streams and the webhook that we're provided with. All right, beautiful. So here we have the exact same blockchain listener, but set up with Moralis streams. So as you see, we're using the Moralis.js SDK, and we're using the same contract ABI for ERC20 token transfers, and then we provide these options. So through Moralis, you can provide multiple different EVM chains and be confident that Moralis will keep you live on these chains. So for example, we could add one over here, EVM chain, Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, Binance Smart Chain Testnet, Kronos, Ethereum, Phantom, Fuji, Polygon Mumbai, and the list goes on. So you can listen to multiple different blockchains even in the same stream. But in this case, we'll just use the Ethereum network as we're looking at the Ethereum network's USDC coins being transferred. Then you just provide some details, and we're interested in the contract logs. You could look at internal transactions or native transactions as well. We provide the application binary interface, the topic as we did with Ethers, and then we provide a webhook URL where we want to receive the webhooks for whenever these events occur. So I just have this simple server running through ngrok that will send us the webhooks here on our local port 3000, which you'll see soon. Then all you have to do is provide a Moralis API key. And if you don't know how to get a Moralis API key, it is very simple. You just open up your browser, head over to moralis.io, create a free account, you'll come to your Moralis admin dashboard and the Web3 APIs over here. You get a very generous free plan with loads of streams, API requests, and you can get your API key from here. You provide your API key, and then you can create your stream with these provided options over here. And then once that stream is created, you can add all the addresses you want to listen to with this stream. And this is the beauty of it. Ethers only allowed you to create one listener for any contract, but here you can provide an array of addresses. So for example, here we have the USDC contract, but let's go ahead and add to this, for example, the Tether USD contract as well. So then we get streams for both USDC and USDT at the same time using the same stream, and these will be identified in the parsed data when you receive your webhook. So adding USDT here, like so, and now once we initialize the stream, we'll get webhooks for both USDC and USDT transfers instantaneously. How cool is that? Now let's fire this up and see how it works. So let me open up my terminal, node index.js, and our stream should have been created. And the beautiful thing is, it's now live on your Moralis admin dashboard, so you can go check it out from there. So let's open Google Chrome. We have our Moralis admin dashboard open. Check out the streams tab over here, and we just created this USD transfers. Let's pause it for a moment. You can also pause it from your admin dashboard. How cool is that? And we can go ahead and edit it from the admin user interface. So here we see the both addresses we added. We added USDC and USDT. We have all the details we set over here, the webhook URL, the network we chose, but you can always edit it through the admin panel as well if you don't want to do it through your code. All the information is present here. We're listening to contract logs, event emittance, and transfers of the ERC20 token standard for USDC and USDT. We'll look at the advanced options later as well. So now if we go back and cancel, we don't want to make any edits. Let's go ahead and activate this stream again. And now go open up the console for the server that's receiving our webhooks and see what the responses look like. So opening up Visual Studio Code over here, and look at this. Here we have the console for our webhook server, and we have all these stablecoin transfers coming in with parsed data. How cool is that? There's an abundance of them as well. If we scroll all the way up, here you see it's in the key ERC20 transfers, and we have this array of all the ERC20 transfers of Tether USDT, USD coins that happened in a specific block. And this is all parsed data. When we scroll a bit higher, we see that we have this array for all the logs as well if you want the unparsed data. And if we scroll all the way to the top, we get information of the stream ID. So this is the stream we just created with Moralis, its tag, and this is the block that all this data is for. So block 160822. The block hash and the timestamp of the block. And here we have all the transfers of the stablecoins we are listening to coming in from Moralis in the form of a webhook. And now if we take a closer look at all these ERC20 transfers, we have the transaction hash, again, if we want to check it out on the Block Explorer, but we have the details of the specific contract. So this is the USDT contract. We have the parsed name over here, Tether USD, the token symbol, and we have the token decimals. So this allows us to get the value of USDT that was transferred in US dollars. So 2,778 US dollars. And this is the value without dividing by the decimals. And we also get the from and the to address. So very neat, parse data, and all in this ERC20 transfers array. If we scroll to the bottom, you see that we didn't set up the stream to look at ERC20 approvals, which would be appended into this array. NFT approvals for ERC1155s and ERC721s would be appended in here, and NFT transfers would be appended in here, all with parsed data showing you the exact token name, the value, from, to, addresses, and transaction hashes. So already you see Moralis provides you with much more data in a clean, neat manner. Right, so taking a look back at our comparison table, what we checked out already, we have the 100% reliability by using Moralis, as you have all those chains in the same tech stack that's sending you webhooks. So as long as you know Moralis is running, you'll get your webhooks from the Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum network, Polygon network, so on and so forth. We've also checked out getting webhooks from multiple addresses. In our example, we used USDC and USDT, and it was as simple as just appending to our addresses array all the addresses we are interested in. And we also saw all the parse data that was coming in through the Moralis webhook. So finally, what we want to check out is filtering of events. So now, as you saw in our console, we were scrolling through a lot of different transfers. The transfers varied between value, but most of them were below the value of 10,000 US dollars. So let's say we wanted to look at all these same transfers, but where the value was over 100,000 US dollars. We can set up advanced options to filter all the events that our webhook provides us without having to do any post-processing in our server that's receiving the webhooks. Let's go ahead and do that next. All right, so we're back in the file where we set up our Moralis stream for USDC and USDT tokens, but now let's add that filter. So in our options object over here, we can add a key called advanced options. So we provide the topic we want to apply the advanced options to, so the transfer events. And for the filter, we want the value to be greater than 100,000, and because there be 6 decimals, we append the 100,000 with the 6 decimal points. So this will allow us to get streams of only where the value is over $100,000, avoiding all the smaller transactions that happen on the Ethereum network. We can go ahead and change the description over here, for example, to USDC transfers 100K, and add to the tag, for example, 100K as well, like so. Save that, and before I go ahead and create the stream, I'll also show you that in the options over here, you could provide a key parameter called all addresses and set that to true. So by doing this, you wouldn't have to specifically set all the addresses for your stream, as now your stream is constantly looking throughout the Ethereum network for any contracts that have the ERC20 standards application binary interface and the transfer event occurs, and this way you could get Uniswap tokens, Chainlink tokens, etc., etc. But for the sake of this tutorial, let's just keep our stream limited to the USDC and USDT tokens, so our webhooks are a bit more coherent, and let's remove the all addresses parameter, which is by default set to false. Just a cool little quirk for you if you want to listen to all the addresses on the specific chain you're listening to. Now let's go ahead and save that and create this stream. So we go ahead and run node index.js again, and this should create this other stream for us. Let's go check it out in our Moralis admin dashboard. Open up Google Chrome, refresh the page over here. So now we have the USDC transfers over 100K, which is active, and we're receiving them to the same webhook server we have running on localhost 3000 over on our own machine. So let's open that like so, and now you see these coming in. 169,000 over here in block 16082. We scroll down. So over here, we see them coming in. Let's go ahead and pause the stream so we can actually take a look at them. So now our ERC20 transfers for each block seems to be much smaller. So for example, here we only had one transfer of a value over 100K in block number 16082296. It was on the Tether USDC contract. The from address, the to address are as seen over here, and seems like the value was 360,000 US dollars. If we look at the previous block, where we had 2 ERC20 transfers, one for the USDC coin of a value of amassing 8 million, and one for the USDT Tether US dollar contract for a value of $127,000. So we're getting all these live transfers, but now with filters provided by Moralis, which you don't have to process at all by yourself on your server. It's all done through Moralis side. So that is a quick explanation of how the Ethers library and Moralis compare when listening to blockchain events. So in conclusion, Ethers was a great option in the start where you wanted real-time events, listen to multiple chains, but you had to make sure that the providers were on. You would have to create multiple listeners for multiple contracts. You couldn't filter it straight from Ethers, but through Moralis streams, everything comes straight out the box. You don't have to worry about multiple tech stacks, easy integration for multiple addresses, filtering events, and parse data automatically. All the data you could wish for, you get straight in the webhook. So I hope this video was informative for you, and you can find ways to use Moralis streams in your project in the future. I'll catch you in the next one.